Can you do personal brand and business brand at the same time? This is a great question. It's come up on a few podcast appearances that I've done over the last couple of weeks. And the answer is yes, of course it can. And there are plenty of examples where people have transitioned from either side of the table. So Conor McGregor as a personal brand into Proper 12. On the other side of that, we've got Spanx and Sarah Blakely. We've got Boost and Janine Ellis here in Australia. We've got the big ones, Tesla, Elon Musk, Microsoft, Bill Gates, Apple, Steve Jobs. So if you build up any one of those arms, whether it's a personal brand or business brand, it creates opportunities on both sides of the table. So if you build up a robust personal brand that has a large following and audience at any time in the future, you can monetize by introducing an aligned offer to that audience. And if you build a great business, you can leverage the credibility, the lessons, your footprint inside that industry to have an impactful personal brand in the same vein. So what about doing both together? It's an interesting question, and there is a caveat to whether it will work or not. It is how aligned is your personal brand to your business pursuits. And if they complement each other, then absolutely you build both at the same time. And in my case, it works really, really well. So showing up as Aaron Whitnish, talking about building personal brands and content creation. We have the agency Content Only, which has a done for you service that supports people in those categories. So for me, building the personal brand actually drives traffic back to the business, and I'll explain how that works. So we generate leads and are able to get clients through the personal brand while also maintaining the business activities on the other side. But if my target audience for the business or the solution that we offered was building $1 million homes on the south coast of New South Wales, as an example, then what I'm talking about probably wouldn't align too much with that. So it would be a conflict of interest and it could send some very mixed messaging. So my take on it is if you have a hook and you have a messaging that complements both, then you can use your personal brand to build your business and vice versa, your credibility by building up that business to accelerate the strength of your personal brand. So I'll share how I do this in a complementary fashion myself. My hook on anything that I do now is the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system. So if you go to any of my social media profiles, you'll see contentonly.au, the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system. Now, why that helps the business is people that go visit my profile through content creation, through the podcast appearances as a personal brand, see that. And then if they're curious, they then go from the profile to the website and they can download that system, which means they join the database for our agency, and that creates a client opportunity for contentonly.au. And that's completely aligned because that is the signature system and solution that we provide over there. So if you want to have a personal brand that monetizes really well and complements your business, be known for something that ties back for your business. So you just create your own version of that hook, what time frame to what result for what type of person. So it could be 30 days to lose 5 kilos for brides to be if you're in the weight loss or training industry. And that means whenever you're building your personal brand and doing content, or you're on a guest podcast appearance, people can refer that, hey, go to www.xyz.com and you can get the 30 days to lose 5 kilos for brides to be and download it for free. So whenever I'm doing any appearances as Aaron Whitnish, people say, how can they discover or learn more? I always just say, go to contentonly.au and you can download the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system. And that shift has been significant for our agency because all the efforts that I'm doing now are driving organic traffic back to the business. And as I create more and more content assets, more and more videos, do more and more appearances, that just compounds the amount of organic traffic as people discover those videos and episodes and then work their way back to the site for the agency and join our database and become leads to the business. So I see very much as the two supporting each other. Now, I do have a strategy where I separate out the incomes if people come and consult. So I make sure that all the agency-based clients are put through that entity at Content Only. But if someone came to work with me through a VIP day, some sort of consulting arrangement, which I only do minimal amounts of, I charge that out separately, so I'm not cross-pollinating the two offers, so we can keep the contentonly.au asset as an asset and separate out the consulting income from that. Now, you do have to consider, if you are building a personal brand, will it influence and will it impact the business asset? Because if it becomes so synonymous with you and it gets tied to you in a large way, what happens if you want to exit or sell that business? Do you have to come as part of the package? Is it too reliant on you? Because if that's the case, it will probably diminish the valuation. Whereas if you build a business asset that's turnkey and you can hand over to a new owner, they can buy it off you and it's set and forget, yet the team run that business, you'll tend to get a very high multiple on the profit. So you just need to, I guess, lean into that a little bit and go, how much do you want the business to be associated with my brand? Does it conflict? Does it create any dependency? And will that influence the valuation? So in my case, what I'm happy to do is use contentonly.au business as a stepping stone and a vehicle, because it solves a massive problem for the personal brand, the advisory, the consulting niche in that world, but make sure that the team can operate and run that business and remove my dependency over time. So eventually in the future, it grows organically through all the content assets that I've built. But when someone applies to work with them, they're talking to a member of the sales team. Their work's getting fulfilled by our editors, by our copywriters, our extractors, so forth. So the business can grow whether I do anything inside that business or not. So it's got that strong valuation and multiples. So I love building an asset and having that tangibility versus a personal brand only income, which is reliant on me trading my time or creating courses and so forth that are tied to my name. Consulting, I have to trade my time in exchange for the money, but by building contentonly.au, a team can do the fulfillment, which means like right now with Paula going through her treatment for cancer, yesterday we spent the day in emergency because she couldn't hold down liquid. She was vomiting and had really bad gastro-like symptoms. So I was able to step aside, spend a day in emergency supporting her while the team was able to grow the business. So I like the comfort of knowing I have business assets building that are not dependent on me and my name. So if I want to park some time as a personal brand, have a rest and regroup, I've still got a business that's generating profit and income for our household, and I don't have to keep showing up. Or if I got sick and the shoe was on the other foot and I was healing from cancer like Paula is, I could take that time and space to do that and know that there's a business still supporting us in the background. So back to the question, can you do personal brand and business brand at the same time? Absolutely. Like I said, you can start with one and leverage it into the other, but my take on it is build your personal brand anyway, because it's going to have a lasting impact and it's a nice documentation of your journey. So even if you don't know where to start, just start sharing. What are you working on? What are you learning? What are your values? What are parts of your life? What are some stories? Because that's going to boost your profile in the sector or industry that you're currently working in. It's going to create a human connection on the business side, so people start associating a name and a face, which actually increase trust transference. When people feel like they know people inside a company, it can help with conversion and bringing on clients. So my push to you is start showing up and building that personal brand. There's never a right time to start. Just start doing it in whatever format you feel comfortable and just talk about what you're doing, and it can complement what you're doing on the business side. If you share parts of, hey, this is what we're working on over here in the business, this is behind the scenes, meet the team, this is how I built the company, here's how it got started, bring in those parts, because like I said, at any time you can leverage that personal brand into other monetization strategies. You can use that profile to open doors and get connections. So start building your personal brand regardless of whether it aligns with the business or not. If it does, great, because you can get the best of both worlds. Your profile will help build the business and the business will help boost your profile. So that's my take on the conversation. Hopefully it was helpful. Feel free to join in on the conversation in the comments below. So if you want the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system for free, which will help you create all your video and written content that's authentic, it's original, which is great for your personal brand, just go to contentonly.au and you can download it and implement that model. And if you've just discovered the show and you're not following or listening, make sure you subscribe and also leave a 5-star review on the platform that's available, because it helps more people discover the show.